Bingo. Yep, I pay my own salary. Yeah. Okay. All right, so chapter 9 is in your textbook. It is going to be conic sections. Okay? We're going to deal with 4 conic sections for the foreseeable future. Okay? Section number 1 is going to be the basic distance and midpoint is the 2 that we have to deal with today. Those are not conic sections. But then after that, we're going to go deep into parabolas, then into circles, then into hyperbola, actually then into ellipses, and then finish up with hyperbolas. Okay? It's not like geometry. Okay? It's the algebra behind those shapes, what those shapes mean, how to construct them, and find their equations.
So we're not using sine, cosine, and tangent?
No.
Oh, thank
No.
God.
Okay. Right? But I will drop on you focus, foci, lattice, rectum, damn near killed them. Okay? Directrix, vertice, and so there's a lot of other stuff that I would much rather be sine, cosines, and tangents because that's so controlling, man. You know what I mean? Okay? Alright, so today is all about distance and midpoint. So if I take, and I thought of doing this, oh, no, it didn't, oh, I got to regroup them. That's why. Got to, whoa, see, there we go. I've got to group. There we go. See, because now I can take this and I can put these points wherever I want. Okay? We can move these points around and around and around, and we can move them over here, and we can put them up there, and we can do whatever we want with those. Whoa, tap the brakes. Why did that not go with me? I know. Why is it ungrouped? But it shouldn't have let go.
There you go. You're good. Oh, no, not yet. Oh, no, not yet. No. Control Z.
That's what I'm doing, man.
Oh, there. So you're good. Stop touching it.
Stop touching buttons.
Just yeah. Just leave it. Okay.
Okay, we'll just shout it.
Ah. It's grouped. Oh, now you're on this.
I know. What? Okay. So, no matter where those 2 points are, the distance between them is always
Oh my God.
this function,
That's
or
like
this
being-
this square root. Okay?
Write this down.
I would definitely write this down. Yes. Okay? It's very easy to remember. Okay? It's the square root, first off. Okay? It's the square root of the difference of the x's squared plus the difference of the y's squared. And you take the square root of that. Subtract the x's, square it. Subtract the y's, square it. Add them together, take the square root. Okay? That's our distance formula. So, if I said, and I'll rewrite this on the next slide again, okay? If I said, find the distance between those 2 points, so my distance formula is x sub 1 minus x sub 2 quantity squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 quantity squared and the square root thereof. Okay? So that's my formula I just simply say, well, this is x sub 1, this is x sub 2. This is y sub 1, this is y sub 2, even though it's kind of funky up there in that corner. Okay? So that would be negative 5 minus negative 3 squared plus 1 minus 2 squared, and take the square root. Negative 5 minus negative 3 is negative 2, correct?
It's x1 minus x2.
Sure. X sub 1 minus x sub 2. If you want to go x sub 2 minus x sub 1, do x sub 2 minus x sub 1. It doesn't matter which order you go in, as long as you stay consistent in your order. Okay? Just like slope. Way back in slope when we did that first semester. Okay? 1 minus 2 then is negative 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 1 squared is 1. So my answer here is the square root of 5. I would prefer, I don't know why. I would prefer you leave things in radical form. Okay. Unless it would be like a word problem, but it's very rare that we'll have a word problem in this section. Okay. Yes, ma'am? Okay. Midpoint is the other part of this section. Okay. Midpoint is just that. It's the point in the middle. Okay. So to find the coordinates of the midpoint, you now add the x parts and divide by 2. Add the y parts and divide by 2. So you're finding the average of the x's and the average of the y's, and that then is giving you the midpoint. Distance is a number. It's a length, so it's one single solitary number. Midpoint is a coordinate, so we need to write our midpoint as an ordered pair. Distance is a length, single number. Midpoint is a coordinate, x, comma, y. Okay? So if I said find the midpoint of the segment joining those two, the midpoint formula I won't even say m because I don't want you to get confused with slope. So then that would be negative 2 plus 4 divided by 2 and 3 plus negative 2 divided by 2. Negative 2 plus 4 is 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 plus negative 2 is 1, divided by 2 is 1/2. And because we're dealing with at most a half, we can just leave it as in fraction form. Okay? As opposed to writing the decimal. Okay? Questions on that? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Okay? I know I told you we wouldn't have geometry, but there's one little chunk of geometry on your homework tonight. Okay? It's remembering the 3 different kinds of triangles. Okay? Give me the definition of any one of those 3. Hannah, I saw you first.
Equilateral is when it's the same length on each side and the angles.
So an equilateral triangle has all 3 sides equal, right? We're not going to deal, it does have 3 equal angles too, okay? But we're not going to deal with angles in this section, okay? One of the other 2, Chase.
Isosceles is where 2 of the sides are equal.
2 of the sides are equal in length. And scaling. Well, yeah, well,
None of these sides are equal.
exactly. None of the sides are equal. The reason I say that is because in your homework this evening, there is a classify the triangle. Okay? If I'm asking you to classify the triangle, I want to know, is it scalene, is it isosceles, or is it equilateral? And in order to do that, you have got to find the 3 side lengths. Okay? So at this time, what I would like you to do is I would like you to find the 3 side lengths. So for AB, square root of 29, for AC, 5, and for BC, square root of 26. Any of those the same? No, none of them are the same. So what kind of a triangle is triangle ABC? So it's a scalene triangle. Square root of 25.
If you roll like the square root of 25 and then simplify it.
In this case, no, because I'm not asking for the side lengths. But if I was asking for the side lengths, then yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Write the equation of the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining A and B. Oh man, perpendicular bisector. So there's a lot of things going on there. What does perpendicular mean for one? Crosses in a, what, Matt? 90-degree angle. So it intersects each other at a 90-degree angle. Okay? That's perpendicular. Bisector. What's going on with bisector? Hey, what? What do we call that point in the middle? Midpoint. So, first thing we need to do if we're finding perpendicular bisectors is we need to find the midpoint. Okay? So what's the midpoint between those two? Five plus -1 divided by 2. 4 plus 6 divided by 2. So that's going to be 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So the midpoint is at the point 2, 5. Yes? Okay. So that's good. find the slope of segment AB. Remember, slope is subtract the y's over subtract the x's. So I get a slope of negative 1/3. That's for line segment AB. Down 1, right 3. Down 1, right 3 gets me there. Okay? Perpendicular slopes to that then are of what kind? Perpendicular slopes, making you think all the way back to first semester and beyond. Before that, too. Perpendicular slopes, anybody? Matt? They are not the same. Parallel slopes are the same.
Aren't they inverses? Yeah.
Even more than inverses.
You flip the sign and you flip the numbers.
So let's flip the sign. What do we call that in math? It's an O word. Flip the sign. It's an O word. Opposite. And inverse, we also say what? Reciprocals. Okay? So what is the opposite reciprocal to negative 1/3? Okay? The negative goes away from the opposite part, and the 1/3 becomes 3/1. So the opposite reciprocal to negative 1/3 is 3. Now I've got the point, which is my midpoint, and I've got a slope of the line going through the midpoint. So I'm going to use the point 2, 5 and the slope of 3 along with my point slope form, y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1, and I'm going to find the equation of the line. Okay? Or if you wanted to use y equals mx plus b and solve that for b, that's fine too. Okay? So here this would be y minus 5 equals 3 times x minus 2. 5 equals 3x minus 6. Add 5 to both sides, y equals 3x minus 1. Over here, you would go 5 equals 3 times 2 plus b. And then you get y equals 3x minus 1. Okay? Either one works. You know what I mean? Okay? Use the given distance between the 2 points to find the value of x. Okay? Well, I know that my first point is at the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? I know that my first point is there. I know that my second point is somewhere let's go with bright green. Somewhere on that line. Okay? I just got to find it. Okay? I know that the distance here is the square root of 18. Well, the square root of 18 is what? A little bit more than 4? Okay. No, it's more than 4. Oh, okay, yeah. I thought you said like 3. Oh, no. 4.3-ish. Okay. So let's make a... So it's like that long, right? Okay. Now, here's why I do this. If I take this and I swing this down, it's going to touch once somewhere over there. And it's going to touch somewhere, whoa, tap the brakes, child. And it's going to touch somewhere over there, right? So how many answers do I need to get? 2. I got to get 2 answers here. Okay? So let's come up with 2 answers. So we've got D, because we're talking distance, is the square root of x's, oops, forgot the minus sign. X's subtracted squared plus y's subtracted and squared. Right? Okay. So, I know that my distance is the square root of 18. I know that my first x is x, my second one is 4. I know that my first y is 3, my second one is 6. What would you do next facing that scenario? Hunter's going to give up. What would you do next? How do you get rid of the square root? Square both sides. So the left side becomes what? 18. What does the right side become? X minus 4 squared plus 9. Now what would you do? Subtract 9. What do you got along? Square root both sides, right? Now, you know me. Curveball's coming. Left side. No. See? Plus or minus 3.
Why?
Square root is even. 2. Yep.
Why?
Because it's a square root.
Why we have plus minus?
Because we're solving and we took the square root. Anytime that you solve and take the square root, it's plus or minus. Automatic. Or any even root for that matter. Right side. X minus 4. Okay. How would you solve it? No. No. Add 4 to both sides. Okay. So on the left side we get 4 plus or minus 3 equals x. So what's 4 plus 3? 7, right? Let me move this back up. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or x could equal 1. Oops, I was a little off on mine. And it was find the value of x. So there's my value of x.
I don't get why it's just 2 times.
Because if I lock it in,
I totally get this problem in general.
okay, if I lock in this distance is not going to change. This point right here is not going to change, right? Okay. Now, if it's your desktop, right? Okay. I touch over here. The end of it touches here, right? Okay. And then when I come over on this side, it touches over there. So it touches in 2 spots. So I have to go with 2 different x points.
Why is it moving?
Because this distance right here is the same as this distance right here. Okay? Because this got locked in, but that can move.
So because you're given the distance, why do you change?
That's why there's 2 of them.
That's why there's still okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you start with the end of the line, not just like.
Yes. So like down here doesn't work because the end of my segment is not meeting up with my dashed line. Okay? You try another one just like that. You don't need to square root the 2 because you're squaring to start. Actually, I'm going to go the other. It doesn't really matter. That's fine. Plus 8 minus y then squared. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So square both sides. Right? So -1 minus 1 is -2. Squared is 4. So that's going to be 4 plus 8 minus y quantity squared. Yes? Okay. What do you get on the other side? I get 148. You do 2 times the square root of 37 times 2 times the square root of 37. If you're squaring both sides.
Oh, okay.
If you're squaring both sides, you take it times itself. So 2 times 2 is 4. The square root of 37 times the square root of 37 is 37. 4 times 37 is 148. Subtract 4. 144 equals 8 minus y quantity squared. Then what? Square root both sides. What is the square root of 144? So the answer on the left side is plus or minus 12. On the right side, 8 minus y. So could I rewrite this as y equals 8 plus or minus 12? Because I'm adding a y, right? And adding and subtracting the 12. Okay? So what's 8 plus 12? 20. What's 8 minus 12? -4. Okay? It's not as bad as it looks. Okay? It really isn't. It looks like there's a ton of problems, Let's see. Two of those. Oh, I like that. I like that. So how about instead, because I'm a nice guy, how about we go... Let's go, I'll knock off, let's go 18 instead of 3.
Yeah, that's 9. That's better. That's 9 problems. Thank
That's
you.
9?
Yeah.
Let's go an even 10 then. Just because,
No!
just stop and relax, children. Just because I want to get, there's not a lot of midpoint ones in that one. Let's go 15 instead.
I'm sorry. I didn't think you were going to do that.
No, because I was just looking and I was debating in my brain if there was enough midpoint ones in there. Okay? 15. We'll go 15. This one will be due tomorrow. Okay?
21, 24, 27. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me, guys. I'm sorry.
It's not India's fault.